GLP-1 community, before TikTok goes down, I'm going to be releasing a series of content Risa style about what it's been like and what I've witnessed here as this community has grown into a movement. Now, we got to multitask because I'm getting ready for an interview, but I wanted you to know that this community was built and founded by traumatized people that were able to take MJ, basically, or a GLP-1 back in summer of 2022. And this isn't going to be edited, it's just going to be really raw. But basically, when Mounjaro first was launched, it was still being studied for treating obesity, right? We didn't have the approval, but they had this coupon card where you could take Mounjaro. If you had a certain BMI, doctors would prescribe it for you, and you could get it for $25. And considering it was only approved for type 2 at that point, that was kind of unheard of. Now, eventually they started pulling back. So the story and the documentary that I've been working on for quite a while and will hopefully eventually release and sell and all the things so we can blow all the things up, is going to be kind of about how the story or the narrative that was going on during that time was that basically, it's hard to do all curl my hair at the same time, but we got it. But it's basically a story about how some people on the interwebs started taking a diabetic medication to lose weight, made it viral, and then made it go into shortage. And that's what people think happened. That's what a lot of people still think happened. But I am telling you that is not what happened. What happened is a bunch of people, whether I talk with them or not anymore, we're friends anymore, or anything like that, were very brave. And they came on to share their journey and create connection with other people that struggled with the same disease, you know? All of us full of sickness in our body, diseased bodies, full of trauma, talking about the realizations in our brain, you know? The food noise going away and how miraculous that was. And then we would connect and do lives together and talk through it and support each other. Talk about how we handled side effects together. And it was not that big of a community, guys. Like, I want to say it was maybe, in terms of creators, like 100 creators. And then eventually, other people started becoming part of the community, whether they created content or not. And what I was kind of witnessing, right, were there were a lot of people, then those people were the ones moving the content, right? Because just 100 people talking, that's not going to go anywhere on the interwebs. You have to have people that are willing to engage with it. So we found other people. And many people, because of the stigma around taking this medication, they weren't talking, right? They weren't creating content. And that's okay, because they're just as big of a part of this movement as anything else. And I don't even think at the time we realized it was a movement. And I think you guys know some of the original creators. Like there were quite a few. And man, we were talking about everything from insurance issues to how to process the coupon. And then eventually we started to go like, oh my God, it was never our fault, right? That was the realization, you know what I mean? We started by doing shot day videos, you know? I never really did them, and I didn't share like what I weighed or anything like that, but a lot of people were very brave and did. But the shot day videos seemed very shocking because they were like, oh my God, you're giving yourself a shot to lose weight? Oh my God, you're taking medicine from diabetics? And then there was this narrative like, oh my God, because we're stealing medicine from diabetics, you need it to live, and all this other stuff. But keep in mind, many people in our community, the obesity community, the GLP-1 community, if you will, have diabetes, you know? So then there was like this rift, and then like there was this huge issue in the media where they were kind of trying to pit us against each other, right? The people with obesity, people with diabetes, and like trying to make it that we were the problem, when really the problem was they weren't making enough medication. And also the problem was that they shouldn't have been actually having a coupon for something they weren't approved for. So eventually they had to change it, right? They had to make the coupon to where it was only if you had type 2 as a diagnosis, you know, code. And then like we were getting turned away at pharmacies and all this crazy stuff. And when I say we, I mean people that didn't have diabetes. So it was a lot. Like and we were also villainized. I mean, the media narrative was just awful. And things didn't really start changing until, honestly, Weight Watchers came in. to play. And I feel like overnight they were interviewing people that were with Weight Watchers join. I don't know if you know this. Weight Watchers bought a telehealth called Sequence. Well, Sequence is a pretty big telehealth in this community. People really felt like they gave very good care. And then Weight Watchers bought them, and then people like me and some others who felt very traumatized by Weight Watchers throughout their life were very upset about it. And I would say that for personally, I definitely made a lot of sort of anti-Weight Watchers content. I don't anymore. I'm at a different place of healing and forgiveness, and I kind of regret the way I handled it. I just sort of like vomited my trauma like all over TikTok. And I think there were some people that felt really, upset about that because they liked Weight Watchers, or because there were some influencers that signed on with Weight Watchers at the time to kind of, like be a rep for them like other telehealths. And I was upset about it. And I'm not upset now. And if anything, I apologize for the way that I acted. But it was so much trauma. And I think that what I have learned is that the interwebs is not the place to process trauma. You know what I mean? But all of these people came together, when all of this happened, and we started to see this change in the narrative in the media. And all of a sudden, people were coming on, and experts were coming on, talking about obesity being a chronic condition, being a disease that needs treatment. And this wasn't about diets, and this wasn't about exercise, it wasn't about that you needed to combine those things with these GLPs, but that's what it started to change as soon as they came in. I am thankful that Weight Watchers came in to this community now, because so much has changed, and they had the PR machine and the power to make that happen. Now, if you knew me 2.5 years ago, I would have never said that. I thought they were the devil. Now, I do think that Weight Watchers for sure has, and I'll talk more about this in the Risa Tisa style thing, has for sure been responsible for a tremendous amount of trauma. But at some point, we have to heal, we have to move forward, And that's what I want. I don't want battles between telehealths. If anything, we need more telehealths to help more people. Like, I read this book recently called Magic Pill by Johann Hari. I thought it was fantastic, by the way. If you are interested, it's very good. And I think represented things really well, And one thing he says is that he doesn't think that people should be getting GLPs from telehealth, that they should be, he wants to kind of thwart anything with an ED, if anybody has an ED that might be taking them inappropriately. But maybe what he doesn't understand in our country is that that's not probable, because there's just not enough doctors that know how to get them approved through insurance. And there's not enough doctors really that even understand the disease. They continue to think of it out like they give you phentermine, like a weight loss pill, but that's just not what it is. So I think we need more, Before I leave this app, if we do leave this app, I just want to make sure that our story is told. And if there are any OGs out there that are open to telling their story on their platform, I don't care. On the podcast, interviewing with me, doing lives, whatever it is before this ends, I would really love that, no matter what it is that you think about me, but I'm going to do that. That's what's going to be coming out. And if anybody else wants to do that too, I think it would be great. I think it would be great. Ultimately, I am just a sick, traumatized person. And I get a lot of messages from people that say things like, oh, your content has saved my life and you've changed my life and these kinds of things. And I kind of went just from being Kim, DMF, Dinosaur Monkey Farts, right? Just talking about all the hurt and trauma that I was going through, all the healing that I was doing, to being more of a figure because of the podcast and how it's done. And then people having different expectations of me. And I really am just a sick, traumatized person that's on this healing journey physically and mentally as well. And I have made plenty of mistakes. But I am a sick person that is trying to do good. And if you would like to do that with me, I would love that. And I will support you in whatever you do too. And if you have a podcast or you have a channel or whatever, I support it. You let me know. If you want to come on the show, you let me know. There's a form on our website, theplussides.com, if you want to submit to come on the podcast. Here comes the content. Let's get loud and change things, whether it's this app or the next. I love you.